Hi, this is Weekly Reflections, and I'm Nancy Joy here on this. We're approaching tomorrow in the wee hours, the super full moon, as I said, which is the closest the moon will be to the Earth since 1948 until 2034. So it's a powerful time, and that's what I want to talk about. Whew, the elections are over. Praise be to God. Oh, yikes. So what I want to talk about this morning, there's an old movie from the 80s about a ship sinking. I can't even remember what the ship was, but it was called There's Got to Be a Morning After. And that's kind of what it felt like last Wednesday. For me, I was excited. Whoever won. That was not what was important to me. What was important to me was the overall mandate of change. What has been for 13,000 years and certainly 200 years in the United States political history seems to be restoring itself to its original seed. Remember, we talked about we all have the coding of the original seed, but in order to do that, it takes change, right? And the change is upon us, and this full moon is going to amplify any emotions we have around this change that's going to bring up for us where we need to go inside, where we need to pay attention and to love ourselves. My dear friend Carol Canova, once way back in the early 90s, wrote a poem called Change. And from that poem, she said, "Change richly blesses those whose courage equals its call. It invites us to allow vulnerability and risk to become our playmates as our souls delight in the dance of life." Just love it. Maybe I'll have time to read you the whole ode. It will certainly be on the printed part below. It's called the Ode to Change. So along comes this super full moon. I think it's 7:53 a.m. Central Time in the U.S., so you can figure it out for yourself. And it's in 23 degrees Taurus, and because the moon rules water, rules our emotions, this full moon in Taurus is going to be very emotional. Whether you're emotionally filled with joy or it's bringing up all the things you're very afraid of, because the truth is you're not afraid of anything going on out there. The truth is the fear is the inner child inside of yourself that doesn't feel safe, because it needs your love, your focus, your attention on the divine within you. Doesn't need you to be out there running over yourself on the way to being so upset about the outcome of the election. It's in divine unfoldment. We all know it. We're in the shift, whether you want to call it ascension. The good, the joy feeling is nothing can stop this now. Yeah, it's going to be chaotic. Definitely going to be chaotic for the next 3 or 4 months and moving into 2017. But underneath, if you can move into yourself and clear what needs to be cleared, this full moon is about the marriage between spirit and matter, which have been separated by duality. And isn't that what the shift or ascension is all about? Bringing spirit into matter. So the focus needs to be within, not the game and the drama being played out there. Because as you bring the focus within, you heal those fears. That's all fear and anger and sadness or grief are telling you to do. They're telling you, pay attention to me, your little child. Love me back into life. Let your light, allow your light to surround me and focus on me. And then as that all shifts, because fear and anger, you allowed them to take you back in there, then you can turn that focus outward onto the world, which is the little child that so needs your love. So I'm not picking on protesters or anything, but it doesn't need the protesting, doesn't need the signs, doesn't need the name calling, doesn't need your focus as a warrior of the light and a light being to be anywhere else but on that healing within and on love. And that's a powerful and a very powerful and important message. So if you're distraught in any way here, it's the perfect time to remember who you are and why you're here. It's a time to allow your emotions to take you on that big journey into integration, from change to integration, to creation. And if you can move into that space, it can be exciting. It's like Nat Khan, love whatever is. This is what is. To love it all, as Ezekiel says. Let's love it all, but let's begin with the journey within. Of course, the shift's easier if you're delighted about who won, but I'm neither delighted nor not delighted. I am thrilled because this change is palpable now. It's gaining energy and momentum, and that's where I want my focus to be, while I'm fully supporting my inner being through any fears or concerns that arise as they arise. And that's using the 5D emotional field. It's very, very exciting. As you return within and nurture that wound that the anger, the fear, the grief has taken you to, you are allowing the light to shift you back to love. And then you project that love outward from your heart. And that changes the world. You change, the world changes. And that's why change is so exciting. Every one of us craves change. In fact, many of us have felt very stifled and imprisoned, and we just, come on, let's get this change going. And then as the change rolls in, some of us are like, oh no, well, I didn't want it to happen that way, and that's not exactly what I had in mind. You cannot have this wonderful new earth that you want without change. And the change must come as it needs to come. And Source understands this, and it is how it's unfolding, so we can return to our original seeds, or Marianne Williamson would say, return to love, in abundance and unity. Well, folks, it's not going to happen without change. So no matter how this change shows up for you, use the emotional gift of it to take you within inside to heal your wounds, so you can be more than ready as all the new earth comes into full being, to be in the presence of the marriage occurring between the spiritual and the material. Don't get lost on your way, running over yourself, as I'm fond of saying, on the way to the battlefield. We exist, Starman Astrology said it this way, I forgot his name. Anyway, it's Starman Astrology. We exist in highly transformational times, where certainty is the last in line, instability is the potent fuel for change, and expect the unexpected because it's the new norm. You can't say you want to change and then not like the change that's coming. So I won't belabor that point. This is an opportunity to experience God's chosen path for us. As the change keeps occurring and throwing curveballs at you, step up to the plate with your catcher's mitt and catch the magic of what's unfolding here on your planet. So that's it. Have a great week. Be sure if it's clear where you are to watch the moonrise this evening, because it's going to be spectacular. See you again next week. I think next week's Thanksgiving week, but maybe not. Anyway, have a great week. See you soon.